find out more about us at blmgirls.com and BLM Girls everywhere. But today, like I said, we're continuing our conversations, our marriage conversations, and we're talking about, thanks Nick, we're talking about who's wearing the pants in your relationship. And the reason why I put the Bruce Jenner syndrome, hey Muquedo from Virginia, another DMV girl. The reason why I say the Bruce Jenner syndrome is because, so I used to watch like on Saturdays when they used to have the marathons of the Kardashians. Thanks, LaShonda. So I used to catch them here and there. I'd catch a few episodes. And I feel like whenever I would watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, poor Bruce was like sitting in his garage building his helicopter or, tinkering around with stuff. And he just got no love. Like, the kids dissed him. I guess Rob isn't his son, but the other male in the home dissed him. I know, it's like, poor Bruce, he got no love, right? I was just like, Bruce always got ran over. He did. It was sad. But it was just like a consistent like disrespect, And I'm not going to go and psychoanalyze why he's now what he is and all that. I'm not going to get into that, but it's just, I think the mere fact that, well, let me first say this. So we all know TV, a lot of it is scripted, but in my opinion, if I know that this show that I'm participating in is going to depict my husband in a light where he's just this inferior being that is like pretty much a roommate living and operating in the garage, and like, that shouldn't be okay with me. I should have enough God in me to be like, look, producers, this is not about to go down. You're not going to make my husband look like he's just a tenant in this house. We need to fix this. But anyway, so I mean, that's what we saw, definitely. But she definitely built their marriage to be that way. Yeah, I mean, Kris Jenner, whatever her name is, we'll get to her in a minute. But okay, so you have the whole makeup of the family is you have this super strong mother, you have a very inferior, husband who, mind you, was this world-class Olympian, like medal after medal, and has like documentaries and just all these accolades to his name. But he's living in a situation where he's like just some errand boy. Nobody pays him any attention. He's like trying to talk to his daughters, Kendall and Kylie, and they don't care. They couldn't care less what he has to say. But so you have, this really strong mother, a weak father, errand boy. Yeah. A weak father. You have the daughters, Kim, Chloe, and Courtney, who are kind of like their mom. They do what they want to when they want to. They don't have really any regard for the men that come in and out of their lives. The whole situation with Courtney and Scott, like they didn't want to get married, or they don't want to get married, or I don't know if they're married now, but there was this whole, just these power struggles, it seemed like. But my point in all this is that this depiction of a somewhat normal family in LA, Hollywood family, is something that people unfortunately strive for, in society. They want to be, a lot of times women want to be in control. We just want to be in control. And so it's hard for us to allow our husbands to be the head of the house, to fulfill the role that God has for them. Yeah, very interesting dynamic, because there are a lot of good things to take from them. Yeah, more on the business side, definitely, for sure. The thing is, what's interesting about Chris is if she were to spend as much time and energy pouring into her marriage and loving a husband as she does trying to collect checks from her daughters and getting them into this and that, I mean, I think she would be a lot happier as a person. I don't know her, but I mean, you can't tell me that she's happy with who she is and she's in a good place when her husband is now a woman and her kids are all messed up. Chloe, they say she's like on drugs. Like, you can't say she feels fulfilled no matter what kind of money, what kind of check she's cashing. You can't, I mean, you can't. You just can't. So back to my point. I mean, there's a lot to take away from the Kardashians. A lot of things that we as women and wives should remember not to do in our marriages. A happy marriage, a marriage that God designed for us, as we know, is one that has our husbands as the leader, as the head of the house. And in order for us to fulfill the design of that marriage that God has for us, we need to do our part by being more being more submissive and being more agreeable and just being, someone that you would want to live with. Hey, Sheila, you're back. Is Sheila from Atlanta, or did I just say that? I probably just said that, and I think you're from DMV. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, we have this family that we watch on TV. The whole dynamic of it is it's just wrong. It's nothing that we as Christian women should be striving for. Is it entertaining? Is it entertaining? Sure. Is it funny? Sure. Is it sad? Yeah, it is. Still MD. Hey, Sheila, thanks. Thanks for coming back. But yeah, I mean, so this is what I want to get to. Okay, so we talk about the husband being the head of the home. Okay, but how do we as women operate? How do we operate in the capacity of allowing that to happen? How do we treat our husband in a way that reassures him that he's the head of the house? How do we just live on a daily basis, making sure that he knows and feels like he's the head of the house? It's one thing to know and feel it's one thing to be the head of the house. It's another thing to feel like you are the head of the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can be the president of the company in title, but if you're not doing what you need to do to make sure the business is running, you're not really the president of the house or the president of the company. So anyway, thanks for the hearts, guys. So anyway, so when we talk about what do we need to do to make sure our husbands are feeling confident in their role as head of the house, there are a couple of things that we need to make sure that we're doing. My phone's about to die. That's why I keep looking over here. So we need to make sure that we very simply tell them. We very simply need to say, I respect you and I love you. Not in a condescending way, not in a jokey way, but in a for real, serious way. At the dinner table or in the morning when he's going off to work or when he comes home from work, the first thing you give him hug and a kiss and you say, I love you and I respect you and I'm so thankful for all that you do for our family. I tell my husband that a lot. I know I would want to hear that if I am out there working and, trying to provide for my family. Tell your husband you love, yeah. Fix his plate first. Yep, girl, yes, you have to fix the husband's plate first. So, yeah, just tell him that there's no more you need to say. I love you and I respect you and I appreciate all that you do for me and our family. That's what I tell my husband. But you have to follow that up too with actions, because you can talk as much as you want to, but if you're not following it up with actions, then it's going to go in one ear and out the other. So kind of goes to your point of fixing his plate first. Fix his plate first if that's something that you feel will is a behavior that will reinforce that self-confidence in him that he's the head of the house. You know, like I said the other day, iron his clothes, take the necessary steps to make him feel like he is the head of the house, because he is. And the more that you build him up, the more that he'll have that confidence, and he'll walk in it. He'll walk in his role. He'll walk in his purpose. So you just need to make sure that you're telling him and you're showing him as well. Ironing, yes. And I don't mind ironing. I don't mind ironing. It's like the whole process of washing clothes and putting them in the washing machine and waiting and then hanging them up. So I can iron, but it's just the washing of the clothes. It's such a long process. And I shouldn't complain because we have washer and dryer in the house, so I shouldn't complain. I'm so thankful that they work, and so it's the little things, or when he gives his opinion or decides something, respect that. And yes, oh my gosh, that's such a great point. I think a lot of times we'll take the step of asking our husbands their opinion, and that was actually one of the points that I was going to say. We ask our husbands for their opinion, and then they'll give us their opinion, and then we'll turn around and do what we want to do anyway. It's kind of like when we ask our friends for advice, or our friends come asking us for advice, and we tell them, and we invest in them. We're like, girl, oh my gosh, okay, you need to do this, and have you checked this out? You need to do that. And then they turn around and just do whatever they want to do. It's like, why'd you waste my time? It has to be things meaningful to him, doing the things that are important to him. Yeah, good point. Yeah. So, I mean, you need to, when you're asking for your husband's opinion, that again, this is another way to show him respect and another way to reinforce his role as the head of the house, is to, yes, ask his opinion. And when he gives it to you, don't try to change his mind. Don't try to tell him what you already thought don't try to tell him what you had already thought you were going to do to begin with. Accept his opinion, accept his suggestion, and go forward. If you're fully confident that it's not something that you're going to go with, I would even go back to him. I'd let him give you his opinion, sit on it for a while, thank him, sit on it for a while, and really pray about it. Is this really what I need to be doing? God, show me. And if it's not something that you feel comfortable with, if his advice isn't something that you feel comfortable with, then come back to him. Just out of mere respect, come back to him and be like, I was thinking about it and I was praying about it, and I don't know if that's if I feel comfortable with that. I don't know if I am in a position to do that right now. Do you think that we should maybe handle this a different way? So those types of questions and those types of, asking of opinion are good ways to reinforce, communication are good ways to reinforce your husband's self-esteem and confidence in his role as the head of the house. And I think along with the first point, which was to just tell him simply, I love you and I respect you and I appreciate you and all that you do for me in our home. Also compliment him, sincerely compliment him. If his, if the outfit he put together looks good, tell him, oh wow, you look nice. Hey, Lady Carson, if you're just joining us, go ahead and say your name and where you're from so I can say hello to you. But yeah, tell him he looks nice. Tell him if he had, something that he had to stay up late to do, let him know you appreciate all his hard work, and maybe you wish that you were more dedicated to, your work. But just make sure you're complimenting him on a daily basis. I don't know about you, but I like to be complimented, whether it's friends, parent, whoever. I like to hear a compliment now and then. So, oh my gosh, you're going to have to, how do you pronounce that? Sharika from South Carolina? Hey. I like to hear compliments now and then. So does your husband. Just because he's a man doesn't mean that he doesn't like to hear nice things. I think we make the assumption that men have this, invisible shield where compliments and nice things don't penetrate their hearts and don't make them feel good, but they do. Men have the same